good. It's all good. Let's have a fun show starting in 5.
LDSPEECA. Don't hate. CXLDSPEECA. I can't wait.
Yo, hello, how you doing? It's your friendly savage ghetto Eskimo. You feel me? The coolest ghetto nerd, Code Speech here. I'm here with my special guest.
What's up, man? My name is Buford Buchanan. I'm just kidding. My name is Skeem Price. Pleasure.
Now, because we are here on the Good Garden, we are here to present all of the flowers. So, give us a little bit of who Skeem Price is. We do our homework over here, right?
Oh yeah.
So
we got irregular instrumentals.
Yeah.
I believe that's the camp that you was associated with.
Yeah, that's the production company. Shout out to J Biz. You've been working since like 2009. You know what I'm saying?
For sure. See now. For outside looking in, we don't know nothing about it. Just like you go to the Instagram, right, and then you have Richard, right?
Oh yeah, Richard, right?
You got a couple tracks with a cat named Cornbread.
Shout out to Breeze. I mean the other Breeze. Yeah.
So,
it's three I know.
Okay,
you know what I'm
so
saying?
give us a little bit of who Skeem Price is and like what how'd you get into this music thing?
Well, it's kind of like I don't know. Sounds cliche now, but you know what I mean. I was on one of them forced vacations.
Okay.
You know what I'm saying? So I was doing the time in that forced vacation, but I had met J Biz from Irregular before that through a cat named Arrow who was doing things for my cousins who were the LAX boys at the time. So it's like 4 levels. You know what I'm saying?
I know what I'm saying.
But at this time, I'm writing from the LX boys, so I have my thing going on, and so we're shopping producers, and Arrow came up, and then he brought me Biz, and then I was like, oh, that's fresh. I wasn't even thinking about the boys this time. I'm thinking about myself now.
Mm-hmm.
I'm like, okay, so I reached out to bro, and we connected, but then, like I said, I was doing some things. I had to go on a forced vacation for a couple years, and within that, he wrote me a letter. You know what I'm saying? We kept contacting. He wrote me, he said, man, I'm doing this for Red Bull, and, BT's going to pick me up, fly me to New York. I know I'm going to need a rapper, so, I know where you at, but when you get out, you got an opportunity. And so
okay.
I said, okay. And so I got my PIA fit. You got the package.
Oh, no, I say.
And it just, I didn't even go check in. I was damn near absconding, though. You know what I'm saying? And went straight to his house, and we did like 6 joints. And, I felt like that was the first step I needed to take.
And now then the rest is history type situation?
Yeah, you know what I mean? So,
awesome.
We did that, and then we dropped a compilation with a group of other people. Shout out to Bombay, you know what I mean? Shout out to Craig. Shout out to Mr. Sobers, shout outs to Captain. But we did a compilation and a couple other things which kind of solidified me to do the music. And then, life happens again.
Oh, no.
You see what I'm saying? So, life happened. And
life is an abundant thing.
Life is life. We're in it. We live it. You know
life
what I mean?
is an abundant thing. Well, okay, so that's a little bit of who you are, right? Now, and these were carefully calculated assessments.
No,
because when we ask the questions, we want to be intentional. Oh, cool. That's the one thing we getting off for the rest of our life is intention.
Gotta be intentional.
Everything got to be intentional moving.
Even if it ain't intentional.
I said, you feel me? So we got into the who. Let's get into a little bit of the what.
The what?
What do you bring to the game? What is different about your style? What makes Skeem Price? Give it to him.
You know what? I don't know. No, I'm keep real. You know what I'm saying? Because I come from an area in LA that is particularly labeled as the same sort of thing. Street activity, gang accumulation. So maybe a different perspective. You know what I mean? What I bring to the game. And I don't bring it in a way that I try not to bring it in a way that's it's threatening. You know what I'm saying? Like, boom, bop, bing, bop, we gonna do that, bing,
So
bop.
you're saying you bring a different angle. And the packaging's different.
Yeah, it's more of an experimental instead of like right in your face, like this is what it is, and, with a frowning face and shit like that. I'm from here and I'm gonna do this. Like,
so I got you. It's more layered.
Yeah,
and
sure. If you've done your research, then you know that I don't just rap. I mean, rap is what I call it, but I can hold a note.
I know, yo. I was playing music on over here. My boy went full Jamaican.
Yeah, full Jamaican.
That's back when he had a little flat top,
That's
yeah, little high top,
West Indian. You know what I mean?
That boy went full. But
yeah, but my family, you know, they come from a Brazilian background, and so I didn't learn it. You know, my mother thought it was a honor to learn it, so you had to like go to school. But I was too busy. My little brother wasn't though; he fluent, but.
Fluent?
Yeah, he fluent. Hey. He got a Brazilian wife and all that. Like, you live in the life.
It get that way.
But, my mama didn't feel like I deserved it. So, at the time I was immature and I didn't pick it up. But I can hear it, though. I can understand it. I just can't really talk it back to you unless it's broken.
I feel that. Yeah. Okay, so that's a little bit of the what. We're going to stay there on the what. What inspires you? Who inspires you? What makes you creative? What's something you can see that like generates that part of you where it's like, I like that idea, let me get something off type shit?
As a kid, everything used to inspire me. You know what I'm saying? But because I made my mistakes and had to pay for them, not too much of the superficial inspires me. It's just a lot of life that inspires me. Situations, you know what I'm saying? It's not really artists. If it's artists, then who's out now that inspires me?
It sounds like you get more inspired by being outside than ever pressing play on a movie, a TV show, or a song.
Yeah, because as myself, that when I consider myself trying to be an artist, my own entity, I purposely kind of shut things out, right? Just to focus on myself. And then there was a point I was open to things, again, after that point. But then, because I'm focused on myself, everything else that was out wasn't appealing, not too much of it. So,
okay.
You know what I'm saying? I just started just focusing on myself and listening here, listening there. I'm not a hater, is the thing. So, I'm comfortable in my skin, and I'm comfortable with even one of my peers, if not somebody I know, having success or doing this and doing that, and not having to come in and say, oh, I need a part of that, or I need to take a piece of that. And, I felt at a point that was part of the game in terms of being an artist, to listen to other artists. So I just wanted to cancel out and didn't say, I didn't take nothing from you. I just didn't listen to you. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, that's right.
So
I can understand that.
But to answer your question, I really like a lot. I'm a Sade fan. I'm a big Sade fan. I'm a big Sublime fan.
Okay.
You know what I'm saying? Shout out to Bradley in Long Beach and all that. I'm a big Buju Banton fan. I love Scarface. That's my guy with the stories.
I remember you saying Scarface.
Yeah, I fucks with Luda. I don't know if I can curse, but I mess with Luda for his delivery. It's right there, you know what I mean? Because that's how I live my life, you know what I'm saying? And of course, you can pretty much bring up any West Coast artist from the G-Funk era, and that's, you know what I'm saying, I'm good.
Any of them?
Pretty much, you know what I'm saying? I don't really have a problem. You can bring anybody up. I really don't got a problem with. These are people that I looked up to and took bits and pieces of as a kid.
Okay.
And said,
I'm about to say, because we're not talking about having a problem. Who inspired you? I'll be honest. I love, right? A couple people connected to the whole NWA family through Snoop.
Yeah.
I don't know. But also, I was born in '96, so by the time I was enough to pay attention to music, these niggas weren't even around no more, or they weren't in a place where like it mattered to.
Right. Yeah, I was born in '88, and so in the middle of it.
Yeah, so you was actively here. So what's it, Little or whatever?
Yeah, I heard of.
Okay, that's an olive branch through Snoop. That me personally, I don't know.
He didn't have enough for you to grow. He didn't have no bodies of work. Snoop has a body of work,
and I feel like most of these niggas they got signed to be ghostwriters. They got signed to be this. They got signed to be olive branches to something, but we never got into actually making them have something.
This is how the game plays out. I have a lot of favorite artists that you probably never heard, like B. Brazy. That's one of my favorite artists.
At first, I'm from Pasadena. I'm not even on that side when it comes to.
But you heard it, bro, though.
Because everyone in Pasadena just gonna throw up.
So that's a lifestyle.
You can be following from middle school, and he gonna be like, "Oh yeah, bro, R.I.P. B. Braze."
And look,
then he's like, "Who the fuck is he talking about?"
And I remember the first day of high school. it was a whole big thing. We're not going to get into it. But I remember I was saying, what's up, bro? Like, what's up? Bro punched me in the face and threw up the opposition. And I'm like,
threw up the opposition is crazy.
Like that. So you go through these drastic changes.
Yes.
But like when I say a be brazy, you know, that's a lifestyle thing. That's, you know what I'm saying?
I
Like,
know. Hey.
not my favorite rapper, but one of my go-tos because of the lifestyle.
Also, what they catalog talking about. So how many hits they got? How commercially relevant are they? So like how much are people able to recognize them based on whatever products they would have been able to be tied to?
And
Schoolboy Q is honestly that PGA and his golf is up there. But like King T was like right ahead of him. King T style was where Biggie got his style from. So off default, they're going to put that boy up there. Now, he didn't have to be in front of Schoolboy. He didn't have to be behind him. But I understand why.
So, you know, see, even how you broke that down put you in a category of something that I've never done. And that's why I think I'm successful, because I don't analyze MCs. You know, I mean, I got the game for that. You know what I'm saying? I don't analyze who got the most hits, and that's not a bearing on if you the hottest nigga or not. You just hot, you hot. And it's a lot of, and you know, you do want to keep in comparison MC and what his goals are. But your measure of success is your measure of success.
Amen.
You know what I'm saying? So I know a lot of cats that say, well, fuck all that gold and that jewelry and all that. You know what I'm saying? I'm just, you know, happy being the dopest out. That's cool.
I also do feel like you have to, especially as an artist, no one talks about how truly humbling it is to be an artist after you finally get in here in a real way and realize this shit is not what it looked like when they presented on TV. This shit's not what it looked like when you see a rapper on the BET Awards. None of this shit is what you think it is.
And it ain't, but you got to make it like that to keep it up.
I said but even that, like, we don't even really have to do that anymore. Like, you used to have the car, so people would associate you with money moves and shit that you didn't even have.
You didn't used to have it. You used to have to show it.
Okay,
You know what
indeed,
like,
indeed, you're right. You could easily rent that. The same way people got all them fake Jacobs.
It's always gonna be smoke and mirrors. This is the nature of the business. It's not our genre either. It's the whole nature of the business.
Indeed,
you know, there's country singers who deliver that pain that ain't never been through that pain, but just educated on songwriting.
Well, I ain't gonna lie. Every other genre is perfectly fine with the whole ghostwriting. Someone else wrote the song type shit.
And we talking hip hop is the only one to get the blues. No bots.
Said hip hop, cause hip hop is about your story, your edge. You giving it off, and you. Hip hop is poetry. Hip hop is therapy.
But you know
and I ain't
what?
gonna lie. We not gonna respect no other poet that's speaking another nigga's rhymes.
But you know what? I'm going through something right now personally, and you know, all I can say is that some of the greatest artists didn't know they were great. You understand?
Amen.
And it had to be a point in life where a group of people, somebody said, okay, listen to this fool. You see what I'm saying? But as an artist coming up, I suggest like you do what I did. Like tune it out. You know what I'm saying? Just tune it out. Deal with who you deal with, you know, but you got to pay attention to the game at the same time, because being great is not just it. You know, that's just the beginning. And you'll find out that being great, you're put in a box where you can't kind of mess up when you're dealing with other people. You have to just be great. You know what I'm saying?
Hey, man.
And there's no school or handbook to that. You know,
man.
it just really ain't. You know what I'm saying?
That's what I'm talking about. That's when you start keeping record of what other people's story is. Like, even on the way coming over here, right? Because I'll be honest, I study all day. I'm just a studying nigga.
Yeah, I'm in the street
I'm late. I looked up King T. You know what popped up first? Besides the fact that he was like, yeah, bro, I'm a rapper, and most people attribute Biggie style to King T.
I never heard of that one. But
Most people, I'm saying that's what comes up when you look up this nigga. On top of, he says, damn, low key, I shouldn't have left Aftermath. I should have been straight where I was. I left Aftermath, went to Ruthless, and that just didn't work out to me.
That was. That's a weird ass move.
Bow.
Back then.
Bow. But, you know, and then everything in between that. So, if anything, you can always learn a lesson in what to do and what not to do. And in that situation, that's just one of the things that, like, okay, maybe I should assess my situation a little bit more,
rather than let my emotions take over
That's
in the middle of
absolutely
ego
Like
type shit.
For me, like we've worked together musically, and I tell you, you like a CeeLo Green to me. I don't know if that's appealing to you or
I love it. Nigga, I love
to
CeeLo.
me, you should, because that dude is a Grammy
I love CeeLo.
award-winning
Getting
artist.
Grown is one of the best songs I've ever heard in my life.
And I don't say that musically. I say that in life, like the position you in with the clique, the position he was in with the clique. You know how he shined versus who was in this clique versus how you shining versus who. Like he was in a clique full of MCs, and
he was one of the best of that.
And he had other things to offer that made his MCing go over or underlooked. You know what I'm saying? But this game is built on different levels of perception. You see what I'm saying?
Indeed.
You know what I mean? So it's like, you know, my suggestion is just to do you and just to, you know, hold people accountable when they got you fucked up, and you know, take accountability when you got it fucked up. You know what I'm saying?
Okay, so right now we're gonna definitely tap into this, right? Because we definitely talked into.
Tap into
the B Braves, right? But that's the P in you, right? That's the Pasadena.
Like,
but that's also, but you also got some Pomona. Got a lot of Pomona in you.
A lot of my history, man.
I said it's up. Now
my family.
With all of that, right? How you feel like those environments helped craft who you are, or helped craft your style, your whole element of who Skeem Price is? Because that's a part of it. That's for sure a part of it. So it's like, how you feel like those like made? Do you feel like it kept you on your toes a lot?
I'm always on my toes in general, but the city is full of ghosts and goblins. If you know anybody, and if you know anything about the P history, you know it's similar to Compton in a way, to where it's LA County, it's its own entity, it has its own police station, fire department, but unlike Compton, it goes overlooked.
And it was a little powerhouse back in the. We're talking about Pomona, by the way. But,
yeah.
And it was
come on, we got Free still kicking. That's a representative
for the folks that don't know. Right when LA popped off, sometime around right as we approaching the middle of the first half of the 90s, so like 92, 93, that's when people start going out to Pomona and seeing where, you know, things is a little bit, you know,
freeways is open.
It was grimier than what they thought it was going to be, and it was brand new territory.
I remember when my father was a kid, he used to tell me a story about they just used to take Valley from L.A. My father and my mother were born here and raised here. Matter of fact, I'm lying. My father was born in Biloxi, Mississippi, but my mother, my uncles and everything like that, born here. And so I remember my father telling me that we had an auntie in Pomona, and he should take Valley. 10 wasn't even open, and that's how old my pops is. Sorry, pops, but you know.
I said, look. Route 66 is real.
That's it.
You know what I'm saying? Niggas used to take that road and just be cruising.
Yeah, but on the strength of what I'm saying is, like, Southern California as a whole has a big gang culture in the subculture of the, you know, everyday.
Oh no, for sure. That's why you reach certain things in their hotspots, because they present something different. For example, still to this day, Pomona is a city where the stroll is real. The blade is real.
That blade is stupid. Like
the blade is real.
That's pretty much on that side of things. Like we known for the blade.
I said, look, shout out. Look, I got
shout out Diamond D.
I was say
shout out Brigham Young. You know what I'm saying? We're gonna shout out all the players and the pimps out there.
I was just gonna say it's its own environment out there.
It's been that, and that's not nothing new though. You know what I'm saying?
It's new if you don't know
not
that.
in it. And
like if you never been by the swap meet, the indoor swap meet over there.
Which one?
I was
we talking about Indian Hill, but I know.
That's it. Indian Hill. If you ain't never been down to the indoor swap meet on Indian Hill, at the end of Indian Hill. Actually, that's not the end, but that's
it's East End. It's the East End.
I said Indian Hill, and you're gonna see something flying with some. You're gonna see some real.
You're gonna see a lot of fly.
You're gonna see some real estate that don't belong to nobody.
And that's the thing. You're gonna see a lot of fly shit in terms of a negative image that is portrayed on the news or portrayed in the social economic structure. Economic structure of how the United States moves. But there's this part of land everywhere. This is
of course.
Like, I know a place by Disneyland on the other side that's been there, like we've been there for years.
I lost my mind when I
found out. You can literally go.
I found out Upland had a hood. or Rancho,
It
or even Ontario. I was like, that's wild.
We're not gonna say that, but you can go to Disneyland on the backside, and your mom and your daddy can have fun like the kiddies is having fun.
Of course.
You understand what I'm saying? So this is what we call the oldest profession in the book, and my perception about things comes from a history lesson of those type of things. So it's like, I'm not gonna approach and say, well, today he sucks, because tomorrow can be a new day, or today he sounds like me. I used to be offensive to that. All I can do is atone for myself and say, look, this is what I'm doing, and this is what I'm gonna bring to the table. If they want to copy it, bite it, rearrange it,
so, and you feel like your music embodies that.
That's it.
You feel like the music gives off look.
That's what I can't.
This is my story, my stroll. That's what it is.
Exactly. That's what I can't do. I'm gonna tell you what I'm gonna do to you because I can't do that, or you know what I'm saying. I'm gonna tell you what I should have did, or because I still at this point to this day right now I'm speaking, I'm living that, and it's not easy, but it's not hard. You know what I'm saying? It's just this is life, and I love life and everything in that before I just love doing music. And you have to think, right? So we're talking about music as a whole. Now this is a system earthly that has survived bubonic plagues, has survived everything and still been itself.
Indeed.
And so it has to have a spirit of its own.
Indeed.
And so, sometimes it might pull you to it if you're practicing it, or, you have to come to it. But it's a thing to where you have to respect it if you're going to do it, in my opinion. You know what I'm saying? Like, in my opinion. You know what I mean?
So what does respecting it look like?
I don't know. It's tricky. It depends on the genre. It depends on you. It depends on how you learned it. It depends on all that. It's you, and that's one of the things that you can conform to, and it conforms to you if you practice it right. And you know what I'm saying? Like you really give. It doesn't. I'm not talking about practicing like going to lessons in do re mi fa sol. I'm not talking about that. I'm talking about just if you embody it and you mess with it like it mess with you. You know what I mean? Because that's the only explanation of why I can even be here, though.
Okay.
That's
what you put in is what you put out.
Yeah, that should be a good example about life in different areas in general. You know what I mean? So.
Okay, so with all that, we're gonna follow it up with when did you fall in love with music? Well, what was the first record? What was the first song? What had you in a place where you was over here and you was like, damn. This is the way.
So, it really wasn't music as a whole. I was raised around music. You know what I'm saying? My mom and pops were always into 70s R&B, things like that. And, I think every black household had that Saturday morning where they had to clean up and then people threw on something.
Oh, no, that's Big Mama's. I'm not going to lie. Everyone that had the Big Mama show, that's because I know a couple people were like, that wasn't their shit.
Nah, my grandma
they
was
didn't have a mom or a grandma or an auntie or anyone who was just playing a whole bunch of oldies and start cleaning up on a Saturday or a Sunday.
Well, for
they
me,
didn't have that.
For me, yeah, my auntie, she used to stay in Pasadena, and my mother and my auntie, they're sisters. So when I was over her house, she was playing something, and then I used to see the truck come through. That big truck was the thing. It was always like around 1 o'clock. The big truck was Pasadenians know it's the big truck that sells fruit and things.
Big A. Look, most places have an ice cream truck. In Pasadena, there's a big ass gray rectangle, silver like a motherfucker,
big whole Utah truck,
shiny as hell in the summer. And that thing sells ice cream. It also sells chili cheese Fritos. It also sells fruit.
No, the real chili cheese Fritos with the actual chili and the cheese in the Frito.
Basically, it's a one-stop shop in your neighborhood where you can get whatever you want. Now, I'm not going to lie. If you don't catch it when you catch it, though, it's a wrap.
Yeah,
it ain't doubling back.
You be hurt.
It ain't doubling back.
Yeah,
if you miss that, it's a wrap. Especially when everyone else done got it.
Oh, my mama, you be trying to be over there like, bro, break bread. Like,
I wasn't in neighborhoods too often to see that, but when I was over there, I was like,
Los
hey,
Robles.
I was like, what the hell is that? Because our ice cream truck in Pomona was like an ice cream truck with the pictures. R.P. George, because George would circle around the Trey 57 neighborhood I grew up in, but he would also be at the school. So he would. I went to Kellogg, right? So Kellogg is a little bit down the street from all that.
Yeah, I know. We're over there by Park West and all that.
Now,
shit.
right? You know what I'm saying? So I went to Kellogg. George would. I would see.
Pomona nigga.
I'm telling you. I said I was out there for a minute, and then I moved back to Altadena.
You know, it's a whole set over there. I'd be like, "You from where?" Oh no,
because that's a different that's a different spot. I didn't even know Centown was Centown until people at school told me. It was like, nigga, you still live in Centown? I'm like, what the fuck is that?
That's how I learned. Like, y'all from over there? Bing, bop. Oh,
no, but because my neighborhood was I always stayed in that. Like, it wasn't like I all of a sudden start going to school.
Yeah. You wasn't searching
up there. Like, and I ain't gonna lie. If I lived in the Trey 57, right, and then all of a sudden I moved over here to the islands or anywhere near Pomona High School. And then all of a sudden it's like, hey, yo, bro, yeah, where side, where you from?
Of
like,
course.
I just moved over from behind Ganesha. Behind Ganesha.
Your ass. That's how you label.
Yeah, I'm saying.
You know what I'm saying?
It's affiliation. It's up.
And that's because Pomona is like 5 square miles. You see what I'm saying?
But
like,
that's just city in general. Whatever if you say you from a certain region,
and you know who bang on? You know who my ops is? That's why when we had that thing across the street, it wasn't a problem because the niggas should kill me. But back then it would kill me because we only deal with them, and it's not that big.
It's not.
It's not that big.
Plus,
the culture itself is big.
We have the same issue that a place like La Puente got, where like La Puente don't really have any like. They beef with each other a lot. Like, it's like, oh, it's Puente 13s. Up the street, it'll be something else 13s. All of it's under, the mafia, but, it's jurisdiction.
And that thing right there, and the view of that in terms of the language that we speak, all you need is from, well, I'm from LA. See, that goes along with different things. That goes along with music. That goes along with me. Oh, you from Pomona. And they don't respect Pomona. They even though we got hitters above the law, you know what I'm saying? We got free. To this day,
I'll even say cocaine, even though
it's the separate thing. But we're gonna say that he was above the law, but above the law and cocaine.
That's kind of what we meant when we said Pomona became a little powerhouse because people from L.A., Long Beach, whatever, when they start tapping into what Pomona had going on, that's when you get those kind of collaborations.
They only say it's Pomona when Sugar Free speak, and I'm like, but that's the whole city though. See, L.A. likes to take and make it theirs, but we're not here for that.
I said, L.A. is L.A.
L.A. is going to be L.A., but you don't hear us say, oh, he on the borderline, so that's not, you know what I'm saying? Like
Look. New York do the same thing when they talk about any of it. They'll be, nigga, they don't, like, from what I've heard, New York will be like, yeah, bro, we New York. That's New Jersey.
That's Jersey.
We New York. That's Philadelphia. That's you feel me?
And we don't do none of that being Pomona, because Compton don't even do that. Inglewood don't do that. And he just sees that you will classify as being the whole L.A. card. You see what I'm saying? The lanes will. But that's it. Excuse me. Oh, damn, I had some garlic. Don't do that. But that's
honestly, no, because what's it called? I grew up, and my dad from Raymond, and a giant badge of his, from what he always explained, was like, nigga, if you from this Pasadena Raymond, but you can't go to 1200, you can't go to 120. You can't go over there because they don't respect you.
Inglewood too, though.
They don't respect you. It's like no, because even growing up in Pasadena, you hear like the DLs and stuff like that. You know, the ones who really like live in that lane life is the one where like nigga they can come to LA and that's fine. No one's looking at them. No one's trying to put knuckles on them. They're fine. That was the one where you might need to watch out. Yeah. Might need to watch your mouth when you talk to that.
Big homie Denver Dan's and all them. You know what I mean? This is a fact, and this is a misconstrued idea about street music versus the streets. You see what I'm saying?
Indeed.
And how it's distributed and why people gatekeep or let people in and shit. You know, it's really a thing that needs to be under calculated, in my opinion, because if you got good music and y'all willing to create good music for that, what's the problem with like linking the cities together?
That's the thing though, and that's also a question I want to ask: what makes good music good music? Because on the West, we throw a lot of our value into how street is it. Yeah. How ready for it is
all
for me to? Can I stump a nigga out to this?
Come on, man.
Can the hoes twerk to this?
We're online. Can I look it up? You know what I'm saying? See some violence.
That's what makes the difference. So if for them, it's like, oh, I can relate to that because my big homies where I'm from, they ready to pop off.
Well, I'm gonna say
they're ready to clap a nigga in the head real quick.
I'm gonna say it like this.
So that's what they admire.
The smaller from the street, the smaller the clique, the more dangerous.
Indeed.
You know what I'm saying? So my clique is very small, and if you listen to any music, I'm not putting it out like it's the biggest. that's just me personally from my experience. And, you know, I would say the labels need to check who they sign because a lot of the labels artists nowadays don't really even know that.
You know they don't care.
So
it's about them. That's what I'm saying. They're going to promote promote the trauma because the trauma gets the money. What we talking about is actually being genuine and authentic to what it is.
So I'm getting to this. So you got a man like Mark Breeze who's been scoped me 2 years before we actually made the move. Because I'm an assassin, you know what I'm saying? Lyrically, nobody can mess with me. You know what I'm saying? And the ones that think that they can and the fallacies, I'm here to kill them. So, because it can't be all fallacy. It got to be the root that it started here. And so, getting a word from the homies and all that, like you the sword. One of the swords that has to come down to clear the way to where, all the fallacies can't be the given part of everybody thing. Because somebody got to die in terms of rap battles and things like that. Like, you know what I'm saying? But if you're a constant problem within the game that the game been talking about, and, you got to get excommunicated. You know what I'm saying?
𝐒𝐤𝐞𝐞𝐦 type shit, John Wick, nigga.
That's it.
Okay, so if we in that realm right now, we talking about the lyrical prowess of Skeem Price, right?
Oh, yeah.
What's a dream collab for Skeem Price?
Schoolboy.
I'm saying Schoolboy.
Right now where I'm at, me and School get on one, we shut the streets down.
Hey,
okay,
I guess I can get it.
Me and School get one.
We talking single or we talking album? What are we talking about?
No, we talking just the single first, and then we see where it goes from there. But we drop the one, that's it. The streets locked. And then, other than that, man, I love to work with Snoop and Quick. You know what I'm saying? That's just it. My greats, Snoop, Quick, Ice Cube. That's
Quick
it.
on some rap shit or on some producer shit?
Quick on some production shit and rap shit. You know what I'm saying? Snoop on just some rapping. You know what I'm saying? Because Snoop is a rap. That's my favorite West Coast style. And I don't care about Crippin' and Bloodin'. Ain't nobody on the West sound like Snoop. And he embodies what, you know what I'm saying, the West should be about. Even with him dealing with Martha Stewart. This is what a gangster should be doing. You know what I'm saying? Getting with a white...
Technically, if we gonna be honest and we gonna be out there, that was the most gangster shit in the
ever
world.
you ever seen in your life. I'm like, okay.
Snoop is Snoop, but Snoop is on sure he was always Snoop.
And he was like, yeah, cuz I'm with Martha, cuz.
We've never gotten Snoop not being Snoop. This nigga Crip walked at the Olympics, bro.
Look at man. And even to be holding the torch as a rapper from Long Beach is amazing. Bro.
A rapper from Long Beach, bro.
You know what I'm saying? That's what character gets you. And staying true to yourself gets you, because Snoop is his own anomaly. He's his own entity. You don't see nobody like Snoop. You don't see nobody like me now. You don't see nobody like you. And we're artists coming in, but I can pretty much clock a lot of people that are coming at it at a
copycat angle.
No, not a copycat angle, but I'm a fan of the West Coast. I'm a fan of this, paying too much homage. And then saying, well, because I'm paying this homage, you should just listen to me. But your skills don't really add up to the homage.
Well, that go back to what we're saying when we go back to talking about putting the streets in the music and everything else like that, that kind of also pigeonholes you to where you just in that box.
So,
and we can't expect you to do anything else.
Now you see where I'm approaching it. I'm approaching it from a point where I don't want to be pigeonholed into, because my mom was she's a retired teacher, so I have proper diction and I know how to write a composition, not even rap. You know what I'm saying?
It would be a hell of a waste if you got put in a place where you know.
But my daddy, he didn't graduate. You know what I'm saying? But he wasn't no gamer. But all he had was his hands, and he could fight for himself. And then he marries my mom, and then they create, me and my little brother. But these are catch-22s that equal up, right? Mm-hmm. And I feel like as an artist from wherever area or section you're from, you should embody it as a whole. You shouldn't take just your experience or, rapping about going against the ops. You got to embody the whole shit as a whole if you want to lead. You know what I'm saying? If you just want to rap, then it's another thing. But if you want to really take it serious, you should embody your whole section as a whole and then explain to them why you are this way. Like I'm trying to do to you right now, right? You know
I'm the coolest ghetto nerd. I will never in my life say that I am a street nigga in any way, shape, or form.
Oh, bro, I'm not a ghetto person.
I just came from an environment where I didn't really have a choice. It was there.
That's him.
The affiliation was placed on the nigga based on dad growing up with certain niggas, going to the park with certain niggas. If the niggas I'm with throw down with some other niggas that's from down the street, Now, as far as them niggas that we threw down
You
with,
see them later, you gotta do it.
that's it. Them niggas, it's like, oh, bro,
Yeah, see me.
that's Brandon from Alton.
My mother was an educator. She taught at a high school and an elementary school in Hurley Street. My father was a mechanic. He worked at the Bell office in the post office, just fixing the mail processing machines. They both didn't smoke or drink. You see what I'm saying? But I got uncles and aunties on both sides of them that did. That
influence started kicking
and
in.
I have aunties and uncles on both sides that they did exactly what they did. You know, I'm a melting pot of California realization. You see what I'm saying? But at the end of the day, it's not no other class than just a class of just people. We're just a class of LA, Los Angeles kind of people.
But you know they're gonna try to put shit
Yeah,
in
but
different
see,
boxes.
we a new breed.
From what you just said, you had the exposure to you had exposure to the book smarts as well as exposure to the street smarts.
I barely graduated, and I didn't pay attention to nothing but math and English.
But you said your mom was a teacher.
A very educated woman. Shout out to my mama.
That's the person that raised you. So and plus, if we're gonna be honest about it, excelling in school doesn't dictate intelligence.
For me,
it dictates how much you remember and how much you give a fuck about paying attention to a system curated to making you conditioned to want to work a 9 to 5.
You see, that's your view. But to me, it did, because my mother held all of that shit up high, and I didn't walk. And so that's the first time I seen my mama cry. See what I'm saying? So it's like, I didn't come from a place where I had to fight for the certain things that other artists or other people had to fight for to get to where they feel comfortable in life or whatever. I had to do my thing to get comfortable in life. And so, you know, it's not always ghetto. It is a sound choice. Maybe it's not a conscious decision, but it's a sound choice to where, as a kid, I want to go this way or I want to do this. And for music, a lot of the neighborhood shit had a part to play before the music came. And that's all I could say. It's not like I live my life a certain type of way to do this and do hood music.
I was about to say, so when did the change happen? Or when did you get to the point where you was like, you know what? I want to do this rap shit. I want to do this artist shit. But I want to change the narrative.
Well, I have a cousin, shout out Brandon. He was a DJ for 102.3 The Beat back when I was a kid. We were talking like 89, 90, 91. I'm talking about I was 3 or 4 years old, dog. And he made me this tape that had Special Ed on it. It had KRS-One on it. It had a whole bunch of the, you know, at that.
So he gave you that early exposure.
I played
to
that
what,
thing. I almost electrocuted
okay.
myself trying to bring it in the bathtub.
Most individuals I do meet who come from this Western hemisphere but are into other shit, they spent like a cool moment of their life
getting used to
seeing what was out there besides what we got out here.
Yep.
And I noticed that there's a difference between the folks that's like, nah, nigga, I was Wested. I only listen to the West. It's the West. Versus other people who like, nah, bro, like I love the Midwest and I love the South and I love the East, and I had to study all this shit. I
didn't have a lot of support into what I'm doing now. It's coming up. So my pops was a hard worker. My mom, they don't know nothing about no rap music. They don't know about no J.O. Felony or, you know what I'm saying, nothing like that. So,
J.O. Felony.
You know, my family is an L.A. baby based family. Everybody, but you know, these are people that have not been involved in drugs per se. I'm saying my immediate family, my mama. So what are they supposed to know about some rapping and shit? All they try to tell me is to go to school and get a job and all that shit. And but you know, I have eyes of my own though.
I did.
And so I'm getting my ass whooped with my pops because he hate that he got to provide. You know what I'm saying? The average thing I'm getting, but I was always smart as a kid, and you know I just went my way as a kid. You know what I'm saying? So I have something different to offer or to talk about other than the same old rhetoric of, you know, my pops was fucked up and then I turned to gangbang. No, my pops wasn't fucked up. My pops was a good pops. You know what I mean? My mom was good. They was together until my daddy died. It's just every family got secrets. You know, every family got things that they try to change they self for to get away from.
You want some Pusha T type shit?
Bro, I'm on some other shit. You know
I could know, because Pusha T would be the first one to be like, nigga, what? We was just into it because that's what we wanted to do. But it's not like we like had the. It wasn't pressed on us to do it. We pressed ourselves to do it.
You shouldn't be scared of me. You shouldn't be scared of the fool that was forced into it, that claiming all this shit. I'm the one that seeked it out. So this is the thing about the perception of things. Like, it don't make no difference. It's all negative at the end of the day. I look for it. He got forced into it. We all still doing the same thing.
Is it all negative though?
how the masses perceive it that don't come from it. Looks like
I'm saying, but like we're individuals who a part of being born in that and raised in that is shown in the music. Anyone that's pressed play on any of my discography, they can tell nigga, I am from Altadena, not the hood, nigga, the city. Then how that shit thrives and how it goes, nigga. Now, are my cousins with all that shit and will they smack the shit out you? Yes, but also got cousins down the street from PDL right. who also slapped the shit out of somebody.
You see the catch
so
it's
a whole little situation. I'm saying, but it's
ain't nothing definite to it though.
Like when you tell your story, I'm not like even though you just compared yourself to Schoolboy Q a couple moments ago, right? But Schoolboy Q,
I didn't compare myself. I said I want to work with, bro.
No, I'm saying before that you was like people say you sound like
they do. I've been told this. I haven't made this up in my mind.
Schoolboy Q's whole thing is, I'm not saying it's good. I'm not saying it's bad. It is what it is.
But you know he's not your average gangster rapper.
I know, and even he said it. He said like nigga,
he's a gangster rapper.
Schoolboy Q has said, nigga, even though I'm talking about what I'm talking about to the average fan. What I'm talking about and the niggas that would put me in a category with would be classified as the weirdos.
And who's putting him in those categories? What type of caliber of person?
The nigga who come from the neighborhood who don't know no better.
Or the nigga that come from the neighborhood that's too scared to go be a neighborhood nigga that wants to report on it. You know, everybody has a motivation for something in life. Now, in this rap shit, you know, of course they do. You know, but a motherfucker like academics can never tell me shit about shit in the street. You know what I'm saying?
Then it's always considered a source.
It's a source. That's a source.
It's always considered a source.
All I'm trying to convey is that, like, you know it. Me and you know, we come from different avenues of it, and I feel like we have something to say about it that will give a different perspective. You know what I'm saying?
Amen.
That's it.
I said, I mean, personally, I don't think none of that shit is inherently like bad. I think some of that shit is inherently just young dumb youth shit. Only difference is our environments what young dumb niggas shit look like is this. Versus another environment, it can look like this. In this environment, it look like this. And that's just the difference of those communities for but for me, I think it'll get played out if you feel me, if you're still promoting it, like that's like the only thing life should be.
If you don't live it.
I say even if you do live it and you above high, you out of.
That's the ignorance about it. You know, and you know, ignorance, bliss is ignorance.
I said my dad literally died at Raymond Avenue crib.
And see, that motivated you to be in his spirit who you are.
My dad wouldn't retire. My dad wouldn't leave.
I don't know where the fuck I come from.
And you can't retire.
But that's one thing you got over me. You know your root. You know what I'm saying? When you have a person that doesn't know his root, that was still born and raised like factually, that's a confusion about who you are as a man or a woman, let alone what you're gonna do in life.
I said, but that's a gift. That's a gift and a curse, right?
It is.
Because it's a curse. Because it's like, damn, bro, I'm trying to find myself, and I don't have nothing to base nothing off
like,
of.
hey, well, fuck that.
But it's also you get to write the story for yourself, which is a lot of pressure on yourself. Well, but I'm saying there's no narrative that you have to subscribe by and say, oh, I got this from my dad, I got this from that, and all that shit is nice to have a foundation of like, oh, this is where I got the blueprint from. Maybe I can add to it, take away this beam, put this beam up there, maybe change the material certain shit's made of. Okay, cool. You know, make some alterations. I mean alterations, not altercations. Make some alterations, but.
Alterations like a suit.
Yeah. No, I'm dead ass. You would make the changes that you want to see. And because you don't have the ties to, oh, I got this from my pop, or the ties to, I learned this from blah, blah, blah. Everything literally would just be like, at that point, it's just whatever you feel like you wouldn't be disciplined enough to change. I
was there when I started to graduate and baseball came in, but I had an epiphany, man, and then, you know, I come to find out that the reason why I exist in my family is for a selfish reason. And that itself threw me off kilter again. Brings me back to not knowing and, like, who are the people around me? You see what I'm saying? And we can get into that, you know what I'm saying? But, yeah, that's a whole other situation.
I see that's for you. We've talked previously, right? That's a personal story. And
It's a-
that would be up to you to share or not.
But you know
me
what?
personally, I wouldn't even ask you to do that.
No, but look, but look, I'm not gonna badmouth anybody that's involved in that. But what I will say that's a lesson in itself to understand that people have different motivations, even the closest one to you, and you might think that you're on the right path, but it might be a wake up call that you might consider too late in your life, and then boom, you revamp, and then you have to do something. And that's kind of my story too. You see what I'm saying? I didn't want to go down that route because I knew at a point where, oh man, and now that I know it too, the people involved, they getting mad at me because I know. That's it. But at the same time, I don't fault them. I don't blame them, because you will know that you was a young parent, right? You see what I'm saying? So
Indeed.
It's like parents make mistakes.
Indeed.
But at the same time, your kids don't have to live off your mistakes forever. All they got to do is just realize it and move forward. But yeah, it's a long ride. It's a long ride. You know what I'm saying?
But okay, here's how. And listen, I'm a Christian, right? Or I try my hardest to be. Try to read my Bible. Everything things make sense. I'm a flawed person. I'm learning, but. From that perspective of me being a Christian, right, and knowing that God's sense of humor is hilarious.
No, God's sense of humor is brash.
Now, what if, right, between the series of situations that brought upon Skeem Price, Dominic Price into this world, right, was made so that you could be a blessing towards people who had nothing to do with even bringing you or manifesting you in this motherfucker.
I'm with that.
Cause that's honestly what that's life is light. I'm with that. And I'm never questioning nobody or nothing of that sort. I got a color theory.
I just would like to make everything transparent, because one thing that you shouldn't be doing is involving someone in your life that you want to just take pieces from and they don't know it. You see what I'm saying? I mean, I feel like that's fair. Because you want something from me, like something untangible, like per se, like you want how I write, just calligraphy-wise. I can teach that to you. You see what I'm saying? All you got to do is ask me. That's an untangible thing that you can ask me for. Does it come off like you want to, as you're something, depending on the industry that you're in? Maybe. But that's something that you have to deal with. So that shouldn't be your motivation of what this is going to look like on you when you need something and you ask somebody for something. Because you don't know that person. That person might just give it to you. But trying to put him in a box, or, you know what I'm saying, or manipulate it if it's uncalled for is not the right way to go about it. That's all I'm saying.
But okay. It also comes to a point where having to acknowledge, and it's a heartbreaking thing for any kid, son, daughter, to have to acknowledge about their parents, but a lot of our parents their growth got stopped. It got to a place where they're stagnant, and now the growth isn't there anymore. The ability to be open-minded about a situation, if it was ever there, is now obsolete. It's not there anymore. And then it comes to a certain point where expecting that person to not be who they shown you who they are is insane. And I know that's a hard thing to even
if they
accept.
haven't shown you that, with that, like a mother, and then like say my mom's name is Mary. It's like that's my mother, but that's Mary. This is my father, but that's Daniel. Now Mary and Daniel, that's that. But if you're going to be a mother and father, this is the criteria that you fall under to do.
Under whatever they understand.
Correct.
I can't expect Mary or Daniel to have the wherewithal.
And you said it. You can't expect that, so they shouldn't expect you to expect it.
I'm saying I can't expect them to give me anything that they didn't get. I can't expect my mom to give me hugs and know how important it is to hug her son and talk after an ass whooping, or let me know the value of whatever the hell she's trying to punish me for.
That's crazy, because
if she did it, I'm saying, but she didn't get it.
So it's like, do what I say, don't do what I do.
I'm saying, if all she ever got was ass whoopings and she never got the conversation, to her, that's normal. That's the way to do it. If you were raised in a house, right, all y'all ever used to clean is bleach, water, and simple green.
And I'm dealing with somebody else.
That's
though, right?
it. I'm saying right now. I'm saying that's what your
I'm
mama
probably
do.
using that, but
I'm saying your mama raised you off simple green, bleach, and water. That's the only thing you clean with. When you go to someone else's house, you gonna look at them like, oh, what the fuck are you
And
doing?
they don't agree with
That's
that?
weird.
So we gotta come to a common agreement. So I use simple bleach and green, like my mama told me. But what do you use? Okay, now this is what I'm not gonna do. Well, fuck what you talking about. My mama told me to use simple bleach and green. This is all I know, and this was I know is gonna get the shit. Or I'm gonna take your simple bleach and green and mix it with mine, and then I created a new thing. It's like it's so much that goes into those.
But you said it earlier. You're not a hater. You're not a
been.
hater, and you just said you don't be observing niggas
but
to
being
try to poke holes in their shit.
Not being a
That's
hater
what that
don't
would
mean you
be.
can just take from me though.
I'm saying not being a hater means that you're not going to look at them and they use awesome. They use awesome or fabuloso.
I never have.
And you're not going to look at them and be like, why do you use that? I use simple green bleach and water.
Did that. I never did the why do you
That's
use
what I'm saying.
that?
You're not going to do that.
might
Certain
use-
people though,
they will do that.
They don't have it in them to not do that. They're going to critique everything that anyone else do.
Why is that the other person's problem?
It's not. It
So
never
what he
is.
does, that other person, he says, okay, he understands that people are different with different personalities in different ways.
Indeed.
And so he deals with those accordingly. You know what I'm saying? That's what a good person that's in that position does. He doesn't judge. He doesn't take offense. And I think that's what I've done.
Yes.
You know what I'm saying?
Being easily offended also has to do with ego. It's all ego. It's all the presentation of ego, pride, a sense of I'm correct, a sense of higher, a sense of all of that for real.
Like, and the competition spirit, when I don't know nothing, shouldn't be there. Like, for me, if I want to compete or a nigga come in my vicinity and I'm working on myself and he's better than me, he's just fucking better. You should know where you at. You're working on yourself. You know what I'm saying? So if you don't know where you at and you think you can compete with a nigga that's clearly shitting on you, that's all bad for you. And then now you creating a fucking vengeful thing. Fuck, bro. You know what I'm saying? You always eating me up, so I need what you got. Why don't you just, this LA is a melting pot. It's not a melting pot like New York. It's a melting pot that's revolving around gang culture. So you might have those entities that we spoke of before, but there might be two sides of that cultural fence out here. And now that's a whole nother problem.
Wait. We gotta talk. An element of LA is around gang culture, but nigga, the Vibe Clan, the hippies, that's also very prominent out here too. Or I call it. No, they call it the Blurs, right?
So you 30, I'm 36. It's like a 6 year difference.
The black nerds.
I'm
saying for example, when you was out and you were listening to music, right? Snoop Dogg dropped. Okay, cool. But over here we got the Freestyle Fellowship who also dropped. Some motherfuckers, they're going to choose this unorthodox style over anything that's cracking
fine.
off at a party and stuff like that. Just like now we got Anderson .Paak off in Oxnard, right? And we got Tyler
Breezy
Creator.
Lovejoy. Shout out to Breezy. Though.
Yeah, you feel me? The nigga, he got my name. His name Brandon.
Yeah.
I'm saying, for sure.
All you niggas' names Brandon.
But so Tyler Creator, right? Damo Genesis, Overdose. Like when I came into being in my the musical identity for a young preteen turned a teenager, like nigga, we had Pac Div, we had Overdose, we had Dom Kennedy, Nipsey popped out, YG was also there, so you had your different elements, all that.
Hey, fools don't even remember Diz Gabron. Shout out Diz Gabron.
I'll be honest,
Yes,
I don't know who the fuck
had
that
one
is.
of the hottest mixtapes coming out with who was he sponsored by? I think it was LRG. That was one of the hottest joints. But anyway.
LRG, the clothes, the shirt company and shit.
Like,
even that, like
Diz.
I came in at the tail end of where like clothing brands was teaming up with artists and making like it's an LRG.
I got the Stussy deal. Deal back in the day.
LRG compilation tape,
I'm right here.
Stussy compilation tape. This like the brands was like, oh, we want to get off with the people.
Yeah.
We want to become synonymous with your
And
soundtrack of
and
life.
I still hold on to
And
it
it's
after
up.
years of not doing it because I stayed solid and I still gave him things not just from me, but that's my homie. Hey, check my homie out. Oh, check, bro. Hey, this is my girl. People like I try to keep it cultured.
As we talk about the gang culture,
I didn't keep it.
I just want to also throw out. Look, also appreciate the juice joint and the hippie culture and the actual instrumentation out here. Because although we talk about the gang presence out here, that's really an element of what's going on out here.
And
but you can literally stay on the other side and be all the way oblivious
And
to
then,
this shit.
well, now you can. Before it was a bully type of thing, but now you can. And that element that we're talking about has been the center of the persona of where we at for years.
Indeed.
You
Well,
see what I'm saying?
honestly, you know what? Going back to what you said, he right. Because if you grow up in an environment where the hierarchy of who can run shit and who's looked at as
Exact.
cool is the gangbangers and such, eventually when you finally do
Get of
when you
age.
finally do come to an age where you need to like tap into yourself and have your little self-realization and self-actualizations, some people are way ahead of figuring out who the hell they are because they already spent so much time alone
That's called
by
big
themselves
homies.
figuring that shit out. They already spent, like Tyler the Creator and all of them, they already found skateboards. They went to skate parks and they were outside of the gang culture doing their own shit. And a great contrast to that is, not contrast, but a great example of that is Vince Staples say his homie was going over to Sid's house, which is the Odd Future headquarters at the time. His homie is the reason he got over there and got tight with them. And then that's what it is. But Vince is over here living his life where like he's in Long Beach and his dad is really a problem.
No,
and
but
his mom is really from that.
And his mom is really from the Staples sisters. So you have to understand, like, it's a whole bunch of things that go into play, and it's a lot of smoke and mirrors. What I do know, though, is that if you have an element there and that is defined, that area, most of the time, you're going to go with that element. You see
Oh, of
what I'm
course.
saying? But
Okay,
But-
we talked about it.
yeah,
And-
but you do have these like us that stood out and was wearing the Airwalks, was wearing the Vans, was
I for
wearing
sure
the
have
J's.
my Airwalks.
You see what I'm
on.
saying? So it's like, and then they laughed at you, but now they all in them. That's what you call a leader of the pack, and that's what I feel like I try to be and aspire to be still. I don't want to follow. I want to just keep doing what I'm doing because I was looking. We're just ahead of it.
Honestly, no,
I mean-
no. I'll be honest, right? And this is one of this didn't change my life, but it kind of reaffirmed everything I was already doing, right? June from Overdose, right?
Oh, yeah, I know fully.
June from Overdose
Shout out Junior.
is one Crenshaw royalty.
Oh,
'cause
yeah,
his
yeah.
family is up
Yeah,
here.
right
Word
here.
up to Big Jess. Word up to Smiley. Word up to
Shout out to
Ksophy.
Kent,
Word up
all
to all
that.
that. You feel me, Bow? But literally, June's family is like Crenshaw through and through, right? All that. But one time, right, I used to kick it at his grandmama house in Pasadena, right?
He is,
because
yeah,
his
yeah.
no, because his little brother is my dog. That's like he a producer. He from the area, all that stuff. He from Leimert Park. So with kicking it with him, I met him in middle school. We reconnected in college. We would just always be at his grandmama house in the back shed recording music. That was basically our headquarters. Word up to Thrifty. Holla at your boy. So with that unit, right, we used to go over there for birthday parties, stuff like that. June didn't even really know my name, but he just like, hey, yo, bro, where your little homie at? That like he dressed like me. Like he do the thing like me. And then I just came out and I was like, oh, for sure. He was like, hey, bro. He shook my hand. He was like, I rock with you because you got the same ability I got where you can wear or do whatever the fuck you want. And no one's looking at you like, oh, that's crazy. They just accept it because you've already made it a thing that you're going to do that you're going to wear what you want. I'll be honest, nigga, in like 2-3 years, they're going to give me like a polo shirt deal. Not polo, but it's going to be one of these shirts that make these kind of shits. Nigga, it's going to be...
You going to get an 𝐒𝐤𝐼 deal.
It's going to be...
You going to get an
nigga,
𝐒𝐤𝐼.
I would love an 𝐒𝐤𝐼 deal. Niggas playing with me, bro. I will make 𝐒𝐤𝐼 the hottest shit in the world. Wear that shit on every motherfucking show. Pay me a check. 𝐒𝐼, holla at me.
Hey,
𝐒𝐼, I'm not playing with you. Holla at me. Look, we're gonna
come
put like little black and white striped bars on the
speech on the
sleeves.
collar? Oh my God.
And then guess what? We're gonna have like speech in cursive. Oh no, the 𝐒𝐼 right here, right? We're gonna have speech in cursive on the side. And it's the colorway. It's gonna be a color block shirt, and it's gonna be wet.
First of all, we're gonna take all that out because there's too much info.
No, because can't no one do code speech like code speech do code speech. So we ain't tripping off none of that. I'll give y'all 1,000 ideas on what y'all can kick off. Y'all still wouldn't do it. Watch this. Hey yo, you know what? If someone smoke weed and that's the way you get off your brand, no. Watch this. What you need to do is you need to take Star Wars, a multi-million-dollar franchise, and you need to start start incorporating that in your lingo every day. So instead of a purple blunt, you smoking a Windu. If you watch Star Wars, you know exactly what the fuck I'm talking about. If you got the green, you smoking some Obi-Wan. You got them Yoda in the pack. You need to start sprinkling in Star Wars terms in your joints. And then when you do that, guess what? People gonna naturally gravitate to it because it's already a familiar situation. And that way you don't gotta get sued for nothing.
All right,
don't use their imagery.
All these ideas.
Just use your own shit. No. They can have that one because I got 1,000 of them cooking in my head.
No, they can't have that one.
Y'all can have that one.
I need that one. Give it to me.
You smoke weed, do your thing.
Come on, man.
It's up.
I'm smoking right now. They don't even know.
It'll take nothing to be like.
I got a whole system. See, you coming up with amazing ideas. I'm smoking the air.
Talking to the homies, trying to figure out what we get into. Tell Shawty go and light up the window. Like it's real easy, real simple. But that's the part of branding people don't want to never talk about.
Yeah, and it's a part of branding that they don't.
I said, speaking of that, you know what? I said, how much time we got? Okay,
Bro,
no. Speaking of that, let's get into this right now. Favorite producer, Bow.
Woo! Right now or in general?
I said in general. It's your favorite.
Okay. Battle Cat, I love you, man. First, shout out to Battle Cat. But I'm gonna go with my man who did Going Back to Cali. What's his name? QD3.
That's your one.
Listen, man, whoever put that beat together, and I'm just found out it's him, that was nothing but chops. Like, it was literally hands-on with everything. You understand what I'm saying? Now, I love Battle Cat because Battle Cat is me. I am Battle Cat. We come from that era. Banging on Wax is where I originally heard him. You know what I'm saying? Shout out to Big Y, RP, all that. But, Red Rum, all that. But, I've never heard a man put together a beat like that Going Back to Cali like this nigga QD3. It was just amazing. Everything about it is just hands up.
Look, some people get in their mode. Like
So
my favorite is Chuck English.
Okay, so see, this is the thing about hip hop, man. If you think it's one person, you're fucked up in the game because it's so many that can do similar to exact in a preference, right? This is a preference we're talking about. Now, Chuck English.
Chuck
why
English
wouldn't I say he's my top?
Chuck English is my favorite producer of all time, just because of how that nigga does it, how he puts it together, how weird shit is supposed to sound, but he makes it like, oh, this is some shit.
And I'm biting my lip, but you know, I said Battle Cat from like early on. Like I can bring up DJ Esco, you know, I can bring up Rock Marciano.
It's your personal favorite. Whether you come to me and you say Kenny Gamble and Leon Huff from the Philadelphia
if
Soul
I even
Sound,
say Gamble and Huff from back in the 70s.
That's what I'm saying. Gamble and Huff, nigga, from Kenny
like,
Gamble, Leon Huff from the 70s, kicking that Philadelphia sound, knocking shit out the door. That could be your one.
I couldn't choose one though because it would change by the hour. It's not fair to everybody involved in hip hop.
I feel that way about my top five. My top five is always changing based on what I recently just heard. Because rap is so diabolically great. Okay, so let's do this, right? You also an actor, right? You get into the acting game. What's your favorite actor? What's your favorite movie?
Okay, I do have a favorite actor.
Favorite actor, favorite movie, favorite director. Come on.
Favorite actor? It's a white man. And I'm not racist.
What that mean?
I fucks with Christian Bale's really tough.
There you go.
Yeah, this dude's not an actor. He's a con artist.
That's
and
fine.
so from the street. I've never seen this dude do this fall in American Hustle when he tells old boy that he snitched on him and he comes out having the heart pills. And the way he did this fall was like, it wasn't like, like you can't do that's not acting. That's con shit right there. The way he felt like that. You see what I'm saying?
I said acting is that. We're supposed to believe in whatever what bullshit they're giving us on stage, whatever character they're giving.
Favorite movie? New Jersey Drive and Mo Money. It's a tie.
Okay, for sure.
That's just how I'm
for sure. Honestly, Mo Money might be the best Wayans Brothers movie ever because
Damon Wayans might be the best Wayne I'm playing.
Nah, no, you're not. No, you're not. No, you're not. No, you're not.
He might be.
You're not. You're not playing. That's what make Mo Money so powerful. I
want to do the remake. If y'all think, sorry, but if y'all thinking about doing a remake, I need to play Damon. Like I've been living this every day.
Wayans is already Damon. And then Marlon is fresh out of performance art school.
Now Marlon is my favorite Wayans actor.
Marlon and Damon are like 1 and 2. Like there's no other. It's kind of like if we're talking Jacksons, right? Everyone already know it's Michael Jackson. Who's the second one before Janet pop off? Jermaine. That's it. Jackie. I mean, no one knows Jackie. No one knows Tito. No one knows Marlon.
About
Marlon needs to shut the fuck up and sit down somewhere. That's the most useless Jackson at all of them.
Marlon ass is just little in general. Like,
Marlon was the most useless. That's a useless. Useless. Absolutely useless. I don't know what the fuck Marlon did.
You're not useless. You just everybody did it before you, so it's like, what you gonna do?
Marlon, you were trying to be the dancer of the crew when Michael is around.
And the replacement.
You are useless.
Yeah.
Nigga, you're the dancer, but Michael's here. How'd that work? I'm saying, how'd that work?
They say, man, you on, but Michael here. Bro,
explain that to me. That's like, okay. That's a perfect example. All right, so we got Johnny Gill, right?
What was the name of the group? Yeah,
New Edition.
No.
New Edition.
I'm talking about Gil Sweat and whatever.
Oh, you talking about LSG?
Yeah.
I said, yeah. But okay, we got New Edition, right?
Yeah.
All right, so with New Edition, my favorite musical group of all time. You know why? Because everyone in New Edition got off.
And everybody sucked.
Everyone
Everybody was
in New
so
Edition
new
got
about it,
off.
and everybody's so raw. That's what I mean by suck. Everybody came in the game and a level. And
Everybody got off. Nah, see, I ain't even gonna let you say that because by the time everyone got off, everyone already had their shit. Bobby Brown literally helped curate and bring in the new Jack Swing sound. Everyone was basically like, we gonna use your album as the introduction.
But you heard how Bobby came in. He came in.
Bobby couldn't sing, but he was still getting it
But
off.
you heard how he got in after he fell off and came back as a solo artist. You know how that happened, right?
Nigga.
Because it was a loophole in the contract.
And he had one album that didn't work, and they gave him a second one. And that motherfucker flourished. They was like, "Hey, the first album, y'all wanted to take control. Let me take control of the second album." And that's where we get the Teddy Riley coming in as producer. As we get the Babyface and Edmonds. That's where we get. Babyface and Edmonds. That's why we get L.A. Reid and Babyface. Yeah. That's how we get the Terry Jam and Jimmy Jam and Terry Lewis coming in. Even though we was already in a space where that was getting introduced, Janet album just popped. Before that, Janet was on Fame, and it wasn't working out.
Bobby was a star.
I said, but was he though?
He was at that time, but he didn't know he was.
I said Bobby was just a bad boy at a time where with Generation X.
We
ready to get this off.
That's what they call a star. That's why they have constellations.
But sometimes the bad boy don't work.
But sometimes that star comes. And that star don't even know he's fucking doing his job.
Sometimes the bad boy don't work.
Is that what's the main thing? I mean, it's not about the bad boy. It ain't about the good boy. It's about being the boy. Are you even a boy before you are classified as
Was
something?
he the boy, though? Ralph Tresvant sang most of them goddamn songs. Ralph Tresvant was doing that shit.
Ralph didn't want it like Bobby wanted it.
Because Ralph wanted New Edition. Bobby wanted to be this gigantic nigga.
Fucked up,
and they just happened to come in at a time where, nigga, this is Generation X. I'm a wrestling fan.
I don't agree with none of that shit.
I'm a wrestling fan. I know what's up, nigga. By the time 96 pop off, niggas was tired of cookie cutter shit.
Ralph
and guess what?
wasn't ready. Ralph had it in the group
that.
setting, but Ralph on a solo setting.
That's what the music was at the time.
And see that's cool. But you know what I mean? It's like
Ralph was so much that nigga. If you go to a New Edition show today, niggas know what's up. Riz runs the nigga. That's the point. That's what make a real leader. Just like when Dru Hill separated. Cisco says, nigga, I never wanted Dru Hill to separate. I just wanted to do this solo shit, get this off real quick, and come right back.
And I'm going to speak from a
real
past sense.
Leader
I never even
shit.
knew that Dru Hill separated, let alone that anybody had a career after that. You know what I'm saying?
Cisco really took the fuck off them 2 years that he was on.
You talking about the thong song?
No, I'm talking about the thong song and everything before that. That cameo he had in that movie where he sang September. But Earth, Wind, and Fire,
and see,
the Wild Wild West shit.
You're answering your own question of why certain motherfuckers go solo and all that shit. Because the game, like,
they telling you to go solo.
You gotta talk, you gotta talk to my man back there. You know what I'm saying? Fucked around and reversed the contract and all this little shit.
Look. I'll be the first one to say it. When you see a lead singer, you want to detach them from their base and promote them separately, so you ain't got to keep paying a whole bunch of niggas. Oh, that's fine.
I heard.
Sometimes that shit don't work.
I heard Beyonce wasn't even the strongest singer, but
in the group,
I heard that she not even like the.
I'm not gonna lie. I've heard a lot of people say Beyonce can't sing, and then as a man, we don't listen to Beyonce like that because we're men, and she don't make music for our demographic.
What's that one shit?
I heard "Emotions" by Destiny's Child, and was like, oh. niggas tripping.
But she was sad, but Jay-Z was cheating on her.
Beyonce can sing her ass off.
No, she can sing. I'm just saying. I heard she wasn't the strongest.
The strongest singer in Destiny's Child is Michelle Williams. Which is, not saying.
Well, I don't even think that. I think Kelly.
Not saying. Nah.
Well, my bad. I think she's the finest. Not the.
Everyone in Destiny's Child can sing, but the strongest one who can actually like light that shit up is the person. And they even, let's talk about the genius of Destiny's Child. They knew to put that shit in structure. Let Beyonce sing her shit. Okay, she's lead singer, but we always had a run in the middle of that shit for Michelle to get off. We also had a part for Kelly to get off because Kelly's harmonies mixed well with Beyonce's.
What was the other girl that got kicked out?
The science.
What's the old girl? Okay, yeah, you know what? I can't compete with your knowledge.
I'm saying, I be listening to the albums, I be playing it. There's like TLC, they knew what they was getting off.
You're a big
T-Boss, you sing this, but you sing so distinctly that it's gonna get off anyway because it still sounds great.
What about SWV?
SWV, we up there. Coco carry this, and Coco's cousins. Because that's what the group was. The group was all cousins.
Though. They can all sing,
That's
though.
what I'm saying. So you getting that point. Yeah. Stevie Wonder once on an interview on a magazine said, I love Destiny's Child because Destiny's Child reminds me of the Supremes. Niggas who don't know this of my age or your age, right, don't know Stevie Wonder been signed to fucking Motown
forever,
since the boy
11,
was like 13.
11,
yeah, so the boy was found by one of the Miracles, the one that wore glasses.
No, he's been Stevie forever.
So Stevie Wonder was there when everything was getting off. That means he was there when the Temptations didn't have no hits yet. He was there when the fucking Dreamettes, the Supremes, were really was a part of the Temptations as a little female offspring of that. He was there for all of that. So he was there to hear, oh, Diana can sing, Mary Wells can sing, and Florence Ballard can sing, because that's the one that got kicked out. That's the one Jennifer Hudson plays in Dreamgirls. But in general, he was able to see all that. So he said, like, yeah, that's the way you make that group up. Even today, we got Flo. I don't know if you know who Flo is. Flo is a 3-piece girl group who tear that shit up.
From where?
I'm saying, honestly, they might be from the UK.
UK?
I don't necessarily know where they're from.
Shout out to Flo.
I'm saying it's in there. Just like anyone that has an argument saying R&B is dead, they just not looking. Because R&B is thriving. R&B is here. R&B's there. Funk is out. Shout out to Duran for that album he just put out.
Man, shout out to Damn Funk. Shout out to a lot of the funk artists, you know what I'm saying?
Damn Funk from where I'm from.
From Dina. But see,
from where I'm from.
Now we get back to what is the issue, why we don't hear majority mainstream, and it goes back to the label and who makes the decisions.
Man, I'll look.
You're absolutely right, though.
I'll look you on the eye right now. Fuck mainstream, okay? I'll say it right now. I'm not digging it. You know why? Because mainstream don't exist anymore. Everyone curates their own playlist. Everyone finds their own thing. What I'm listening to on my car ride home is completely different than what you listening to on your car ride home.
And the option to get it.
And the same for shout out to Dion, the director, the wonderful person who started for Radio for the World that this show is curated on, curated by. I guarantee his playlist or his Spotify, his Apple, looks different than mine. And mainstream don't exist anymore. You literally just have to be your own team.
And I'm going to just shout out Dion again because he let me in. I was late coming in and just play this.
Stop dry snitching on yourself.
My bad.
I'm saying, look, I'll say this because I want everyone to know this because I'm running into too many artists that don't know this. You have to be your own director. You have to be your own editor. You have to be your own engineer. You have to be your own producer sometimes. You have to be your own publicist, your own A&R, your own all of this. Guess what? Because no one gives a damn about holding your hand through this process anymore.
And you know what's funny? That he says that. He's the second man that said that in the last 22 hours.
Because it's real, and I'm tired of meeting artists that feel like they're going to sign a record deal one day, and that's going to cure out. Unless you're making microwavable music, they're not giving up. They don't care about signing you.
No. It depends on what you want to do, but at the bottom end, having your own is key, especially at a point in your career where you want to be having your own before you're forced to have your own.
Even when you get signed, guess what? Guess what happens? You still have to learn all this shit. Mm-hmm. So if you got signed and you don't know how to do this and everything you do is curated by them, guess what? When the receipts pop up, guess how much shit we had to pay for your dumb ass because you didn't know how to do nothing.
And I learned that the hard way.
That's just the game.
I learned that the hard way.
That's just the game. Your contract says that you'll reimburse us for all the stuff we would cover. And you was never paying attention. You was too busy trying to be flashy.
Or not even trying to be flashy. Maybe you don't know the business. Maybe you don't know the steps to the business. You know what I'm saying? But however it is, you need to get it right.
They definitely don't know the business because if you knew the business, you would know that you need to have this. No musician, no artist in this shouldn't have a photo editor on your phone, a video editor on your phone,
Studio Essentials.
some way to curate you recording sound, even if it's just a goddamn rough cut in your voice notes.
If you're an artist, you should have like some type of mixer or master like EQ in your thing to take rough tracks and make them sound.
All y'all should have a Google Drive.
These are called
you should also have a
Studio
WeTransfer.
Essentials.
These are things you need because these are things that people in the industry use to transfer information. There's no way to hold yourself back from this unless you decide that you want to be the individuals that feel like you don't need it.
And you better have your own. You know what I'm saying? You better have your own. So we got 5 minutes left. And this is good things because, you know, Speech is, I know him off camera and on camera, and he's a very educated brother. You see what I'm saying? And he's very talented. And I see that he moves with knowledge. You see what I'm saying? But we got 5 minutes left. So what are we going to do for 5?
I said, for 5 minutes, guess what? Shut the fuck up and sit down with your black ass. You tune in to Ground. I'm just playing, not you.
Oh, my bad.
No, I said for 5 minutes, they have a little entertainment. Anyway, no. Okay, so we finna wrap this up.
We should quiz y'all.
We finna wrap this
them
up.
I
said, this ain't Dora the Explorer, nigga. They not finna talk.
So what did we talk about today?
So where was Stevie Wonder signed to, kids?
And how old?
Did you say Motown
Records?
That's right. That's how much space they use. That shit used to piss me off. When you become a parent.
That's right.
when you become a parent and you realize what's there for your kids, bro, you really have to screen all this shit. For example, Coco Melon is going to have your kid impatient and twitching the fuck out.
What's the first one that comes on with
Peppa Pig is gonna have your kid talking to you, one with a goddamn British accent like they're from the UK,
Oi, mate.
and,
Oi,
and
matey.
two,
Oi, wanker.
they're gonna be talking to you a little crazy,
Oi,
and it's like,
oi, daddy, can you make me some pancakes?
Don't get thrown down the stairs.
Wait, what's the first one that come on at 6 in the morning when they're like superheroes?
PJ Masks or what?
PJ Masks.
PJ Masks. Look,
I think it's kind of adult. It got a little bit of adult thing.
I don't have a problem with PJ Masks. There's certain ones where like, yeah, bro, they straight, and a kid can be a fan of those and get them little toys when you go to Walmart.
And some is like,
and that's fine.
That from?
And some of them is like, nah, bro, we're not doing that. For example, Bluey is great. You know why? Because Bluey teach them lessons.
Yeah.
Bluey teach lessons kids need to learn. There's an episode of Bluey where old girl is being rude to her dad. She see her dad doing something, but she's trying to get his attention. That is some things that every parent deals with because that's some normal kid stuff. You have to teach them how to, one, use their manners and say, excuse me, and two, be patient. But Bluey's the type of show that puts that on the forefront and makes sure the kids know that. I'm a dad. I got 2 kids. Trust me.
We're gonna have our own kiddie show.
Awesome. Well, I can't wait. Look, first of all, follow me. That's what we're gonna talk about these last 5 minutes.
I'm gonna be doing artist stuff on him. So tell him your IG.
Tell him my IG. Look, bro, I am the coldest nigga ever.
That was speed. That was got the speed. Nah, for real.
I said, I'm the coolest ghetto nerd. I'm the savage ghetto Eskimo. They know what I'm from. Certified altar boy. Okay, my name is Cxld SPEECH. It's in the title of the show. It's in the theme.
And the thing about it, he's the coldest, but this guy, you should really check in on this guy. He's always in your neck of the woods doing something positive. That's all I wanted to say. I know this guy. He's in your neck of the woods. Why?
I said plus, you know why it's positive? Because ALTA stands for a life that advances. We're always trying to get to the advancement. I'm not tripping off ALTA being ALTA Block Crip because the city's much more than that. I'm much more than that. They much more than that. We all much more than that. We're going to turn this shit into lucrative moves. We're going to turn this shit into lucrative situations. ALTA stands for a life that advances. Moving forward motion, going up. You know why it's called Altadena? Pasadena is called Pasadena means the crown of the valley. Yeah. Alta literally just means upper Dena. It's literally a upper crown of the valley. It's an upper kingdom. I call that shit Mount Olympus sometimes. And it's on Mount Echo.
And not just Alta, not just
Northside Halos, homie.
Yeah, and not just Alta Dena. We're gonna talk about Monrovia. You know what I mean? We're gonna talk about Covina, West Covina. We're gonna talk about. But understand, this is a whole 210 that's on a vibe.
If you watch this and you from any of that, holla at me, DM me. Let's get you in this seat.
Don't holla at me.
Let's talk about what's going on in your neighborhood. Let's talk about how you
for
feel
real.
represented. Let's talk about your artistic journey. Let's get into this nerd shit. Let's get into it for real. We could talk about anything from the way shawty like her cherry pop to the goddamn way you like Spider-Man color suit.
And I'm gonna keep it
I
real.
don't care.
We're gonna do one better. I'm gonna give you my number. 909-489-4044. Text a question for speech.
Did you just give them your actual number?
No, I didn't.
Oh, I was about to say, this is crazy.
That's another number.
wild.
But hit that and send a message, and we're gonna get your questions in with speech. Next time, we're gonna be here.
And tell them how to find you. We finna
Oh,
break
yeah,
up
my bad. Well, I'm on Instagram strictly. I mean, I'm on other stuff, but you can check me on Instagram.
What's the name though?
My name is Skeem Price, and it goes SKEEMPRICE, and it's with the @ in front. So you just put the @ in front.
It's at SKEEMPRICE.
ICE.
No underscores, no dots, no periods. By the way, we got to talk about y'all adding all these extra things to make it hard as hell to find you. So if I'm a fan of you, I can't even locate you because your name is either hella common or you made it hella difficult for me to actually find you. Unless I go to your Instagram.
I just got this girl name. She said her name was Lucy_Desi_Lucy and Desi_.
I said it sounds like her name is single, side with a dumbass, side with a shut the fuck up. I'm just saying. That's how
How
I
am I
get to
supposed
that
to
way.
get at you on? I forgot which Lucy
I'm
is
saying
Desi.
it's diabolical when y'all come with this trying to be so different and y'all add more punctuation mark than my keyboard can even be filled with. I don't wanna follow your name is hell. So nigga it's H #LL.
Oh my God.
What the hell is wrong with you?
So you did the breath with the you were
Peace, we out here.
yeah.
All good. It's all good. Let's have a fun show starting in 5, 4, 3, 2, 1.